Group D. Match number 2 in round 1. We are heading to Courtyard Coliseum. I hope that the fog doesn't activate. If it does, I'm just going to restart on Courtyard Coliseum until the fog doesn't appear. I don't think it should. We got a Group D. We have a match between Chobin, Robo Groudon, Chobin, and Damien. Both with teams that can be very strong and very useful. I would say they're pretty evenly matched. Let's see what these Pokemon will do for them. The previous match, Flash vs Misty, pretty equal teams, was equal, I'd say, all the way through. And it ended up in a 1-0 victory for one of them. If you haven't watched that yet, you can go do so. But now it is Chobin v Damien. I have to try and stay neutral, but I'm also just very much rooting for Chobin because it's Chobin and Chobin is great. Chobin is Dr. Kamingo's #1 assistant. Chobin is also Dr. Kamingo's only assistant, therefore being the #1 assistant. Alright, Ghost Grave, NSYNC, The Bell, Pingu, Sandy, and Ocean King. And here you'll see that one exception that I'm making to the Sandstream and Snow Warning rule. Tyranitar not being the last one to be sent out because there is a Kyogre or Groudon on the same team. This way, if Tyranitar is sent out and Kyogre comes in after, it can actually cancel the damaging weather. Which I wouldn't have done if it was just an attack that does it like Sandstorm or Hail, if it's done by the attack. But because it's done by the ability, it's permanent, and I prefer to remove that if I could. Let's go. Also, after this match is done, everyone in the stream, do not leave the stream. Yes, we will be done with Battle Revolution then, but I will be switching game to something very fun that you can actually participate in. An easy and fun game you can participate in just by being in the chat and having one extra tab open. So if you know like the Japbox Party Pack games, if you know them, it'll be a very similar game that we will be playing right after this, so please stick around. It is called Use Your Words. I think it is a very fun game. We're going to be playing that right after this match. Alright, Courtyard Coliseum, let's get this match started. Ninja's going first. Starting with Rage, which... well, it isn't Gen 1 Rage. Ooh, Eruption, big move, because Mr. Mime is still at full health. Both Spiritomb and especially Umbreon pretty defensive. Umbreon specializing in special defense, but still taking quite a lot of damage. Heart Swap, Manaphy signature move, swapping their stat boosts and stat drops, but there weren't any yet. Might want to do that on Ninjask in a couple turns. Ninjask has speed boost.
The air in the Coliseum is tense.
Would this Umbreon use Explosion like in the last match? Role play, no! Ninjask loses his speed boost. It was fastest anyway, and it already got a speed boost, but it loses its speed boost for the rest of the game. Although I think it might reset if it somehow switches that through Huge and Roll and Aurora. But it's gonna stay being faster because it's easily the fastest out of these Pokemon, and it has a speed boost. Conversion 2 from NSYNC.
The move fails.
Failing because it wasn't targeted by the last move. I'm not actually sure what makes it do it. It was hit by Eruption.
Multiple hits. It keeps
Barrage with an interesting animation. I would have expected that to just go away, that bomb thing, because now it looks very weird how it connects. And with the I got hit animation. It's a little weird. Blizzard from Ninjask, another powerful move. Hits Umbreon. Doesn't quite hit the Spiritomb though. Oh, Frozen! And Synchronized doesn't pass on the freeze to the attacker. So that could be big. Super Fang. Nah, not the Ghost type. Did you not watch Darren versus GameScorp? There were so many immunity attacks there. Here's Rockslide. That's gonna hit Ninja's card. Yeah, that's Ninja's card. That's a 6-5 lead for Damien. Chobin sends out Dragonite.
Well, both corners still have a chance to win this. Who's going to take the glory?
Just remind me, you're gonna use Super Fang on the Umbreon now? Cut! Mr. Mime! Spiritomb is a ghost type. Do not hit it with normals, or fighting for that matter, or psychics, because it's also dark. Dragonite! Stop! Our Spiritomb's is going to be the MVP of this tournament because there were just 3 types. Like it's Spiritomb, Sableye, Gengar due to Levitate. And Haunter. Because there's 1 Haunter in the tournament as well. Stop using normal moves on Spiritomb! Like Sableye, I think, got targeted by normal move once, or a fighting move. Gengar, maybe? I think it survived a ground move because of Levitate. It might have been, but there's so many normal moves. Here comes a Sludge. Doesn't deal that much damage, but at least it's damage. Doesn't poison. Thawing out for Umbreon, so we can use Metronome. Here comes Toxic Spikes. And with 3 more Pokemon to be sent in on Chobin's side, Toxic Spike is actually pretty good. If that's a move used on early on in the game and the opponent doesn't have Flyers or Levitators, or Poisons, that can be big.
Apart by
Double Edge taking out the Mr. Mime. That's a 6-4 lead. I know that Chobin because I requested it before. Yeah, you requested it indeed to be used in a second exhibition match, yeah. And I did use it then. I'm pretty sure Chobin did lose that match. I think Chobin did lose that match. But it might still win this one, although being 6-4 behind and Toxic Spikes being on the field. Yeah, Toxic Spikes, but it's 1 layer Toxic Spikes with normal poison, which means 1/8 of its HP as damage at the end of every turn. Dragonite! Spiritomb is a ghost! It's a ghost! Stop using normal moves as Spiritomb. What is with these Pokemon all using normal moves as Spiritomb? It happened the other time as well. Critical hit, Dark Pulse, and the already poisoned Marowak. It would have just been salt in the wounds if it flinched as well. At least Marowak gets a move of its pursuit. Goes right through the Toxic Spikes. It's going to deal no damage because Umbreon's defensive. And also it's a dark. Scizor doesn't get poisoned from Toxic Spikes, that is true, but I always send out the Pokemon in order of where they are in the Battle Pass. I don't make the choices in that. Just to keep it fair. I just always send them out in the order that they are in the Battle Pass. If there was a Poison type on the team, you would have really wanted to send out the Poison type first, because that would have just gotten rid of the Toxic Spikes. That one doesn't exist, it's just that Scizor won't be poisoned because it's a Steel type. The other 2 still will, even if Scizor was sent out first. Magic Code's interesting. So if you want to use Toxic or Will-O-Wisp or anything like that on the defensive Umbreon, it's not going to do too well. Cross Poison. Poison 8 wouldn't be too bad because Marowak is already poisoned. It can't be poisoned the second time. Spiritomb with Smelling Salt. Going for Dragonite. Kaboom. Just a little bit of damage. Stockpile helping with some defensive stats. Marowak, if it doesn't get hit, there's 2 more turns to live. And there we have the first stockpile. See, this is why you should swallow or spit up before you use it. Yeah. Although I think swallow or spit, maybe swallow and spit up. I don't think it's really useful because it's only really good if you have 2 or even 3 stages stockpile up. But then if you use spit up or swallow, you lose those defensive boosts. only when you're at really low HP, then Swallow I'd say would be useful. Because then having the higher HP is more useful than having 3 increased stages of defenses. There's the high jump kick on the Ghost! So as I looked up earlier, half of the max HP of Spiritomb is dealt to Marowak as damage. Stop trying to hit the Ghost with normal or fighting. Just stop. That's a 6-3 lead. It's not looking good for Chobin. Kangaskhan is going to come in to try and deal good damage, but is immediately going to get poisoned by the toxic spikes that were set up earlier. Chobin, you need to get some good moves. The opponent needs to keep using Healing Wish. Do it. Imprison might be really used. Did I just call the Swallow? I didn't see a Swallow. Was there a Swallow? Did I miss the Swallow? I was just paying attention to Marowak being dead. Oh, Spiritomb used it. At least not Dragonite, who used the stockpile. Ooh, Spikes! That is actually pretty useful. We'll deal a little bit of damage on the remaining 4 Pokemon on Damien's side, if they ever get sent out. N-Sync uses Rest, heals off all the damage. And the defensive Pokemon is back to full health. And the other Pokemon that might heal as well. Actually, they're not going to heal, they're using Iron Head. But they keep being targeted by fighting, especially normal as Iron Head. Once again, I like the spinning, builds up intensity, builds up power, and then goes for it. Kangaskhan with a bit of poison damage as well. There is Magma Storm damage on Umbreon, but with Rest being there, looking pretty good for it. N-Sync now can't be poisoned, can't be burned for 2 turns. Won't be able to attack for 2 turns either, but it's looking pretty good. Kangaskhan also being poisoned, it won't mind it. Kangaskhan, secret power. Stop trying to hit the Ghost Grave, because Scrappy isn't your ability yet. Pretty sure Scrappy was introduced in Gen 5, otherwise I would have probably given it to you. It's likely that Damien will win at this point, but you never know in Metronome battles. And even if we did, the score can still matter for tiebreaker, so we're going to see it through to the end. Mean look. The others can't switch, not that they were going to anyway. A bit more damage on N-Sync, who's going to stay asleep for at least the next turn as well. Dragonite and Kangaskhan need to do some major things which aren't hitting Spiritomb with a normal or fighting move. That's a move that works. Metronome. Bubble. It's not a normal move. It damages them. It's not very strong, but it damages them. Doesn't lower their speed. Not that the speed really matters, because the other 2 were slower anyway. Bubble Beam. Bit more damage on the Kangaskhan, who's getting weaker even further by that poison. It's not going to be much longer for Kangaskhan before it's taken out. Kangaskhan would really love to see a rest. Would we see a 6-0 from Damien? It is possible, yes. Fearsome bubble battle from both sides. The Bubble Beam single target, bubble hitting 2. What are we going to see next? Ember into Flamethrower. Scratch into Slash. Amnesia. Kangaskhan wants to forget about this entire battle because it's not going well. Dragonite with Metronome. Smelling Salt. Super effective. If Umbreon would have been paralyzed, it would have been even more. Wake Up Slap would have dealt more and woken it up. This could soak up the results of this here fight.
A whirlwind is whipped up.
Oh, who knows what that move is that Umbreon is about to use. Ooh, String Shot from Spiritomb, so we're going to see where the speed is for the rest. Yes, indeed, that is Razor Wind. I would say Razor Wind is super strong. I think it has a higher crit chance, but it also... I don't think it's fully accurate, at least in early games. It's also a normal type move, so it's not that great. I think in Pokemon Clover, which is a game that I sometimes play on stream, Razor Wind still exists, but it's been made into a 130 power move, and it's also a flying type.
Umbreon
allowing it more
starts to
usefulness. Here
attack.
comes the Razor Wind. Umbreon now actually moving first after that string shot.
Pokemon at once.
Kangaskhan surviving it, but it'll go down to poison unless it heals itself here. No, it's going for Pluck. So it's going to take the Leopard Berry from Umbreon,
It hits.
which means that Umbreon, because Umbreon has also been on the field since the start, might actually get to struggle at some point. Although it was frozen for a bit, for like 2 turns, I think, 2 or 3. And it used Rest, so that saved itself from 2 turns of lowering power points. But it may still get to struggle near the end. Question, how viable is Technician, Fury Cutter, Metronome? Not much, because Fury Cutter isn't a move like Rollout that you automatically select every time. Fury Cutter isn't very effective anyway, because you need to randomly get it in Metronome twice in a row,
Both sides.
which is a super low chance, and even then, it might not be super strong, although Technician does boost it. Kangaskhan going down to Poison, that makes the score 6-2. It's continuously looking better for Damien. Time for Chobin's final Pokemon. At least this one will not be poisoned because it's Steel type. Here's Scizor.
Is sent out.
Spiritomb and Umbreon at lower HP. Just 3 power points left for Spiritomb, but it still has its Leopard Berry. Still 8 actually for Umbreon, because it was able to stall for enough turns through Rest and being frozen, so it actually is working out for it now, having lost its Leopard Berry. So we might not see a struggle at all in this match. Rush Grip won't do that much damage because Umbreon's HP isn't too high. Also it's resisted. Still a bit more damage than I expected, and every bit of damage can count in the end. Scizor going for confusion. Scizor, they're both dark types. Chobin, you're Dr. Kaminko's #1 assistant, but you're also really dumb. Stop using moves that don't affect them, please. Also, Spikes is on the field of Damien, but that hasn't had any effect yet because they haven't sent out anything new. Barrier for Spiritomb, boosting its defenses. You'd think this would be even worse. Like, Ghostgrave, I think, healed twice, or at least once. NSYNC healed, I think, early on, and then Rest from Ghostgrave after a couple turns. If either of them had Aqua Ring or Ingrain active, this would have been even worse. Watch Scizor use Explosion. Like, watch Scizor use Explosion when Umbreon is using Dig. I feel like that's gonna happen, so that it only takes out their partner. More normal moves from Umbreon on Scizor, about the same damage as the Crush Grip. Scizor needs some big moves. Jump Kick, and it actually hits on the Dark type, but they didn't use it on Spiritomb. That would have been major damage back on a Scizor.
It's down. And
But it will not be a 6-0 sweep. Umbreon is down. Back into its repeat ball, which is Damien's ball for all of their Pokemon.
Dragonite
Transform for Dragonite, which is bad, I think that's bad. Because Dragonite has better stats than Spiritomb. Not by too much, but it has better stats. But this means that Dragonite is now at 5 power points from Transform. Or does it actually have less? Because Spiritomb had less. Leopard Berry still exists, but maybe this is actually good for Chobin, because things will start hitting the Dragonite now with normal and fighting moves and Psychics. Chobin will just be like, hit my Dragonite with Jump Kick because it's a dragon flying. It'll be useful. Here comes the bell. The actual green Bronzong. 5 uses of Transform on Dragonite. Let's see how many normal and fighting moves are going to be used on the Spiritomb, or if it's just going to be things that actually take it out. Spiritomb not being weak to anything really helps it as well. Scizor, Air Cutter on both of them.
It hit 2 Pokemon at once.
The fact that there's no poison really helps Chobin. Leech Life. That's Gen 4 Leech Life. It's not the Gen 7 Leech Life, so that won't do much damage. It's a little bit of a heal, I guess. And that bit of HP on the damage or the heal may matter. See, that might be either good or bad depending on how long that Scizor lasts. Quite possibly. The triple kick, here we go. Doesn't affect the Dragonite. And here, Spiritomb, the actual Spiritomb, eats its Leopard Berry because it ran out of power points for its Metronome. The Bell using Magnet Rise, but it already has Levitate. We've seen 3 Magnet Rises so far, I think. 2 of which by Levitators. The only one that was actually useful was on Aucus Quilava. And there was actually an Earthquake. That came a bit after that. Which it was able to survive. Unfortunately, the partner did get taken out. I think it was right at the start. The Roselia was taken out by it. It was used by Jolteon. Boomerang doesn't work on a Levitator that tried to use Magnet Rise. Stop hitting its immunities. Wing attack from Spiritomb into Dragonite. No, not into Dragonite, into Scizor. Decent damage. Dragonite with Gunk Shot. Fortunately misses, so that likely was a target on the Spiritomb, which would have been nice. I thought with that animation it was going to use Explosion, but it's Hidden Power. And because everyone has 31 IVs everywhere, that is always a 70 power Hidden Power Dark. It's not random IVs, I want everyone to have the same stats everywhere, so it's perfect IVs on every stat on all of the Pokemon. 31 everywhere, which means a 70 power Dark Hidden Power.
The trainers haven't given their orders yet.
That hurt from a weak flying move. It's decent. It's a decent flying move. It was weaker in Generation 1, then it was just a 35 power move, which is the same as Peck. Scizor again. Luster Purge. Good move, but not on a dark type. Scizor. Dragonite using Charm. Well, it's better than trying to use Luster Purge.
Its attack fell.
But it's not damaging. You need to damage them. Or use like Poison Powder. Poison Powder might be cool. But then Poison Powder on the Ghost. Not on the thing that fully resists it because it's Steel. Just making sure, because I know you're listening. Some of these Pokemon are listening. How Farfetch'd. I think it's Claudia's team that Farfetch'd was absolutely listening, and it wasn't even. It was still in its own Pokeball at the time.
It's being ganged up on. Well, both corners
there.
have a chance to win this. Who's going to take the glory?
Umbreon. Spiritomb getting closer to being taken out, but same goes for Scizor. Cosmic Power boosting its defenses, that may matter.
Its stats rose.
Chobin, because they know their Pokemon will have to last long, will want to see an Aqua Ring or an Ingrain. Recover will be really nice as well, a Rest. They'll take that Muddy Water, that's basically the Surf that doesn't hit your partner. But it also doesn't seem to hit Spiritomb, it only hits Scizor. Misses Dragonite. Dragonite with Metronome. Yeah, Baton Pass doesn't work. You don't have a partner, dude. Also, it doesn't deal damage. Start doing things that deal damage. Bronzong. Oh, it missed. It targeted the Scizor. I was gonna say, if it hit the Spiritomb. Cosmic Power will definitely work in Scizor's favor. Most likely, yeah. Spark. Decently powerful electric physical move. Doesn't quite take out the Spiritomb, though. Can Dragonite finish it? Nope. Boosting its defenses because they know they'll have to stay here for a long time, so those defensive boosts may be very important. Also running out of power points, but the Leopard Berry boosted back up to 10. That's 10 more for Spiritomb. Hit Missile on the Scizor.
Multiple hits. It keeps dealing damage.
Not that effective. Also only hitting twice. What does Bronzong do? Lick. Not powerful at all. Especially on a Steel type of this generation, but the two licks so far have always paralyzed. The third lick of the tournament does not. Bronzong actually has a tongue then, if it can lick.
Scizor uses its move.
Whirlwind. Bronzong is pushed out. Forced out, goes to the back of the team. Will be sent out last. Would we get there? Well, Dragonite, you're dead. Because that's a permanent Sandstorm now up. Scizor won't be hit by the Sandstorm. Both Spiritombs will. Hey, boys and master, welcome. We're in the Metronome tournament in the final match of today. Spiritomb would beat up. Won't do that much damage, also because it's resisted and there's only 2 Pokemon actually attacking. Sandstorm will deal damage. However, remember the rule that I would always say that I had the Sandstorm Pokemon in this case in the 5th slot, and then Kyogre would drizzle on the 6th slot to cancel the sand. That applies to Whirlwinding it in as well. If the Sandstorm or Hail Pokemon that sets it up via ability is sent out earlier than normal due to Whirlwind or Roar, the Rain, the Drought or Drizzle Pokemon, in this case, the Kyogre with Drizzle, will be sent out immediately after. So, a very strong goal, not just because they want a KO, but for Chobin, will be able to deal that final 6 damage on Ghost Grave, so that Kyogre will come in. Then again, if they don't deal that damage, Sandstorm will just take it out anyway, so then the Kyogre will come in anyway. It'll just be one more turn of Sandstorm damage, but if Spiritomb would have had more health, Chobin would have wanted to go after the Ghost Grave, because Kyogre will be sent out next. Unfortunately, yeah, the signups are now closed. We have started. Scizor with Slack Off, that is very useful. It needed that health. It'll be able to use that Cosmic Power from earlier better as well. But if you're in the Pokemon Tournament server, you can go to the Other Topics channel. You can see the 16 battle passes for all of them there. The first one's pinned, so you can just go to that pinned message and just see the rest there. Oh, Brick actually being used on the Not Ghost. That's surprising. You can go there to see all the battle pauses and see who you want to root for. These are the final 2 battles, Chobin and Damien from Group D. Here comes Hyper Fang. Damien's Spiritomb did not heal. This is being played on the Nintendo Wii because this is a Nintendo Wii game. It's Pokemon Battle Revolution. It is not a multiplayer mod for this. Nope. This is me playing it single player. Because it's a Metronome tournament and the Pokemon only use Metronome, I decided people can choose their Pokemon for their team, but I just click Metronome. That makes it a lot easier, saves people from having to schedule matches as well. Normally, Pengu would be sent out next, and then Ocean King, and then the Bell, because the Bell was put to the back. But because there is currently a Sandstorm active, the Drought or Drizzle Pokemon, in this case the Kyogre, will be sent out. Pengu will be next in line because the Bell, the Bronzong, is still at the back. So Kyogre sent out next. Very powerful, very strong, but at least it gets rid of that damaging permanent weather. Spikes actually being effective here against Tyranitar and Kyogre. Wasn't effective against the Bronzong because of Levitate.
What kind of developments can we expect to see next?
Things are looking better now for Chobin, but something Chobin has to worry about is power points. Dragonite only has 8 more Metronomes remaining. Scizor still has 7 and then still has his Leopard Berry. So as long as that doesn't get eaten by like Pluck or thrown by Fling, that should be okay, but Dragonite may run out. What if Double Thunder, then they both hit? Ooh, Kyogre boosting its special attack, making it even more dangerous. Scizor, what do you have for it? You have a Fissure that's going to hit? Extra Sensory doesn't affect the Dark type, Scizor. Stop hitting into immunities. Like, the Ghost is gone. The one Dark is gone. The other Dark is still there. Gunk Shot misses. Seen a lot of Gunk Shots this tournament. Dragonite with Razor Leaf. Super effective on both. Pretty nice damage. And the special defense boosts on Sandy doesn't apply Because Sandstorm is gone. In Sandstorm from Generation 4 onward, the rock types do gain special 50% extra special defense, but it's currently raining, so that doesn't apply. Ocean King with Metronome is going to give us a special attack. It's going to give us a physical one in Clamp, but that's still a stat move. And that's going to damage Scissor in between turns for a couple of turns. That's not what Chobin wants to see, but I guess it's better than Flamethrower, even in the rain. Okay, they want to attack first. I guess that can work. Metronome from Dragonite. I'm pretty sure String Shot we used a bit earlier on. So that's how it works. Attract unfortunately fails. Spiritomb liking one of the others, but it doesn't work out. Sandy with a defense skill boosting its defense just slightly. And remember, I said it at the start of this match, I'll say it again. After this match, the Battle Revolution part of the stream will be over, but we won't be done with the stream. We will be playing Use Your Words after this, which is a very fun, but also simple game that you can join in on. So stick around after this match for some good fun to end off this stream. Dragonite, Metronome. Yes, it's Dragonite, because if you join in later, that was a Dragonite that transformed into a Spiritomb. Sunny day, we've seen 3 sets of weather already. The sun is now up, so no stab, well, as much stab damage from Kyogre. Must stop lowering the accuracy of Scissor. Chobin won't be happy with that. But it's not that much damage, so in that sense it's not too horrible. Scissor going for a Screech, which connects with Kyogre, so you'd want to hit them with physical moves. Spark, a Razor Leaf, a Volt Tackle, although the recoil might be very dangerous. With no Ingrain or Aqua Ring active. Secret Power, that's a physical move. On a Steel type, so it's not too much. And it doesn't paralyze him or anything else either. A little bit of Clamp damage. Scissor will want to heal again. Because it's getting close. It's heating up here with this drought we have. Indeed, it is heating up. Quite literally. And remember, even if Kyogre and Tyranitar are taken out, there's still a Bronzong with most of its health. And the final Pokemon that hasn't even been sent out on their team. Super effective. What move was that? It was, I think it was a physical grass move, I want to say. Either way, it was super effective. Crit, making use of the Screech. Kyogre's done. Defend order. Even more defenses for Tyranitar. Now 2 defense increase, so that's double defense. 1.5 times special defense. Trying to survive long enough to see the others go down. But Scizor takes the defense increases. Oh, it's Needle Arm, okay. So Scizor, actually it gave Tyranitar its Cosmic Power boost, so it doesn't actually matter that much. The only difference is that it's now Scizor with 2 defense increases as opposed to Tyranitar, because they both already had 1 special defense increase. One from Defend Order, one from Cosmic Power from quite some time ago. Chobin is on the comeback. Like we said, someone said earlier, this is pretty sure just a sweep. But then it wasn't a Signal sweep, and Dragonite and Scizor still survive. Very happy that Dragon was already out when Toxic Spikes came out, but then again, it's a Dragonite, so it wouldn't have gotten hit by the Toxic Spikes anyway, unless Gravity was active, which you haven't seen this tournament yet. And then Scizor not being poisoned because it was Steel type, very useful. If Scizor was just a pure bug, it would have already been down quite a long time ago. There's 3 Metronomes left, but it still has the Leopard Berry. It would be bad if it flung its Leopard Berry away, though. They want to see healing, especially on Scizor. What does Dragonite do? Power Whip, continuing with the grass moves on the Tyranitar this time, 2 super effective grass moves. Very nice job. Good damage. Is Chobin gonna get the comeback from 6-2 behind? We've seen someone, Rens actually come back from being, was it 6-3 behind to a 1-0 victory? This was a 6-2 behind.
The move fails.
So Chobin was farther behind than Rens was. Rens won that match. Scizor with Surf, that's gonna hit Spiritomb. At least Spiritomb has some... no! Critical hit! Doesn't deal that much damage because Spiritomb does have defenses up. I think it's mostly physicals. And Surf doesn't deal that much damage because Drought is active, otherwise the Tyranitar will have dealt a lot more damage, but... Yeah, Chobin wants to damage the opponents, but they'd really love to see something like Rest, Milk Drink, or Aqua Ring. I think Rest or Milk Drink more than Aqua Ring, because Aqua Ring is a bit each turn. And the other might just take it out was a decent move. Trick Room would have ran out at the end of this turn anyway, and Spiritomb just stops it now. Speed up, yeah, you didn't stockpile yet, so that doesn't work. Pengu. Bulk up, increasing attack and defense. What's Scissor gonna do? We now goes last because Trick Room was gotten rid of. Watch us just set up Trick Room again. No! Self-destruct! At least it didn't hit the Dragonite, because Dragonite was a Spiritomb there for a Ghost. But that does make it a 2v1 situation. Tyranitar is going quite a lot of damage on the Empoleon, even after the bulk up defense increase. But this does mean a 2v1 scenario against a decent HP Empoleon and a pretty good HP Bronzong. We'll see if that was worth it from Scizor. He did take out a Pokemon and dealt a lot of damage against the other. And this is a Pokemon with 3 immunities. And good defensive boost already. I think got an Iron Defense earlier. Been one big dent in the Penguin indeed. Oh, this is just one. This one's called Pengu. There is one Pokemon called Penguin in the tournament, but that one's a Victory Bell. Which isn't a penguin at all, just a random name. Metronome from Pengu. It's Damien's team that now goes first. Roar doesn't work. You're not going to put Toxic Spikes on them. Or anything like that. Metronome from the Dragonite. Jump Kick. It connects. This is going to be so much closer. In a way, I'm really rooting for Chobin just because it's Chobin and I really like Chobin. But coming back from 6-2 behind, either because of the opponent or because of the struggle. Yeah, it already used up its Leopard Berry. Yeah, it only has one Metronome left. So that Transform used by Dragonite eventually cost it. But I guess it did resist some moves more, but also less because it changed its type from Dragon Flying to Ghost Dark. But with one Metronome, it's not going to do it. Unless it gets Bug Bite or Pluck. Excuse me. If it gets Bug Bite or Pluck, it still has a pretty good chance. If Bronzong explodes, Chobin might still win as well. Mental Burst doesn't work. Also, this is already the longest match we've had so far. We're already going over 36 minutes. Dragonite with the full tackle. Before it struggles, wants to make sure it gets a KO. On Pengu, but that's going to be some recoil damage as well. It's low, but it's not there. But that's going to be one struggle. That's just going to be one struggle. And Bronzong moves after Spiritomb, so it needs a Fling or an Explosion, which didn't happen. 25 HP is less than a quarter of Dragonite's maximum HP. It was so close, Chobin. It was so close. It almost worked. This was a very exciting Metronome battle again. Metronome battles are just so unpredictable and exciting. Struggle isn't going to be enough to make it a tie. Struggle recoil takes out Dragonite. Damien wins at 1-0. Yeah, it would have had to do Memento or Self-Destruct or Explosion. But it didn't happen. It was a Hyper Beam that Bronzong used on the turn that should have used something else to help Chobin win. Fling wouldn't help since, let me remind you, it's a normal move. No, Fling is a dark move. Fling is a dark type move. So that would have hit Spiritomb. And then that would have activated the Leopard Berry. Yeah. Struggle has 25% recoil. I think the recoil was just 1 damage in Gen 1, but the Struggle recoil was changed to 25% of your own max health in either Gen 3 or 4. So that is a 1-0 win for Damien. It was, let's say, a 38-10.